There's literally so much I could say.
Say it all.
So I just want to start off by saying that you get a plate to the cookout. Well, you get 2 plates to the cookout. You're really amazing, and I just want to thank you so much for helping me get into RISD and really supporting me through the whole application process.
Oh, we love Bridge. Bridge is like the studio dad, and when you don't have something from the previous class period, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna disappoint dad.
You know what's funny? I remember the first time we had your class, ARC 101, and we were sitting there. It was our first assignment day. You told us to read something, and then we came in the next class. I know for a fact you knew we weren't going to read it, but it was so funny how when we walked into class and you started talking and you said, did y'all read? Did y'all read the reading? And I was sitting there, and we all sat there and looked at each other, and then you just dismissed class. He's like, I'm not going to teach if y'all not going to make the effort. And then ever since then, we would try our hardest not to disappoint you. And I think from that moment, you became the ARC father. And you became this one person that we never wanted to let down no matter what. Even though we didn't have you as a teacher for the rest of the years. I thought it was quite interesting.
Hey, Bridge. Just wanted to tell you it's been amazing having you. Seeing your face, even when I'm not in studio. Well, we don't have you anymore, but you kind of like set the ground stone on how I should carry myself as an architect and how I should take pride in my work and just being very serious, yet in a not like confrontational way. And I just want to like say that I really, really appreciate and I love having you here, and we're going to miss you a lot.
So I remember sophomore year, we're doing structures, and I told Bridge I could make a building levitate. And he said, Samaya, there are laws in place for this. You can't defy the laws of gravity. And I was like, I'm sure if I pull the strings tight enough, it'll levitate. And he said, okay, try that. Let's see if it works. But that's the kind of professor Bridge is. He lets you explore, different things, even though some part of him knows that it's not right, but then he lets you get there yourself. So thank you, Bridge, because I found a father figure in you, and thank you for pushing me to try out new things.
Cool. And then the one thing we've been asking people is, when you think of Bridge, what do you think of? Is it like a word or a mannerism? Like, what is one thing that when he does it, you're like, that's so Bridge? Like, so like someone like was like, he always has an apple in his hand, or like they've been given different words that he uses a lot.
Oh no, the only thing that comes to mind is the way he stands, and like if you do something he doesn't really like believe in, he just raises that eyebrow. It's like, what? And he doesn't say anything, but at that point you already know you kind of screwed up.
I just wanted to thank you for how you've impacted all of us. I don't think we could have asked for a better foundation in architecture school. And I really appreciate the time that you've been here.
So when we had freshman year, I don't know if you remember this, but remember when we had the tower project and I had to present and I was like really nervous, and like all I could think of that whole semester was like, this guy must really hate me, because like, yeah. But then like actually when I got to know you and I was like, oh, okay, so like sophomore year, like, yeah, you're by far my favorite teacher. Like, I'm really sad you're leaving. I'm really sad. Yeah.
That you are the best, and it sounds like a really general term, but I cannot think of a single other person that has invested so much time and patience and energy into making sure that I get through this program. And I've had a lot of moments where I've thought about quitting and where I wanted to leave, and you were always there pushing me and helping me get through it. And the amount of questions that you answered from me alone is a full-time job. And so I appreciate everything you've done. And I think one thing that stands out to me the most is at the end of sophomore year, you kind of told me in passing, never stop asking questions. And that was probably the most encouraging thing that anyone has ever said to me in my life. It empowered me and equipped me to always be curious and always want to learn, and that is a gift that will keep giving to me for the rest of my life. And so thank you for all that you've done for me, for the other students, for being a role model, and I wish you the best of luck. Keep it loose. Keep it loose.
Hi, Professor Bridge. I know you're leaving us at the end of this semester, and it's really sad to know that you're leaving, and we're really going to miss you. I'm personally going to miss you the most. If I had one sort of memory to sort of go back on, I would say that I really enjoyed, I believe it was 206. I think the graphic notes was like one of my favorite parts about having class with you, and I loved your sketching style, and I don't know, something about it. Everything that you kind of did with sort of sketching and drawing and like taking our ideas and just transforming them was a pretty like sweet process to sort of watch, and watching you sort of turn our ideas kind of inside out and showing us sort of different things we didn't see before, I think was a pretty amazing part of you, and that's something that I feel like we're gonna miss, I think, as a class. Future freshmen won't, get to experience what we've gotten to experience with you, and I think it's going to be a bit heartbreaking, but I can say that you've, pretty much stamped our class with your personality, your touch, your talent. You're very giving, and we're going to really miss you.
So when you think of Bridge, what's one like mannerism or phrase or motion or movement, or like when you think of Bridge, like what is a Bridge-ism?
Gosh, the stance, but I don't even know if I can even get it in the camera. Just
I don't know what to say. There's literally so much I could say.
Say it all. And they'll edit some of it.
So I can cry?
Yes! Tears! We love tears!
No! I'm gonna miss you a lot. I just feel like you bring a lot of inspiration to everybody, and you kind of just open up like my heart and everybody else's heart to the things that you want them to see. And we're just gonna miss you a lot, and everybody's gonna, or the people that won't get to have you will have missed out on a great experience, and hopefully you come back and you check in on us and we'll check in on you. So
Okay, so just take a moment and just, do what you gotta do. But did you go on the California trip? Okay. So, just, yeah. It's okay. So, on the California, did you go on the California trip?
Mm-hmm.
How many of there were you?
16? There was like 16. Yeah.
It was 16. Were they all sophomores?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what'd you guys think of the camping?
Gold.
Yes.
That was so cool. And then getting up to go use the bathroom at night, and everybody who decided not to sleep in the tents was literally wrapped up, bundled up in their sleeping bags with it shut over their head. Oh my gosh.
even if you was in this
Exactly.
tent, it was cold.
What out of that trip? I know you guys did a lot. What was like one, except for being freezing cold during camping? Like, what was one experience or one building or like one day that was like really memorable, or you felt like you guys had a really good time, or like what was?
I think it was probably just the experience of just getting to go everywhere and having the experience that some people don't get to have with going on trips with their schools. And well, I know my favorite part was the Getty Center. That was just the most amazing place, and you gave us the choice not to go based on what we might have heard in the news or whatever. But yeah, it was definitely just a breathtaking experience with a good group of people.
Good.
My final project for the religion space, you gave my final crit and kind of inspired me to keep pushing because that year I was really struggling. And then also Chicago, walking around the city, give us a quick tour. Freezing to death on the last day, but enjoyed every moment of it, and definitely enjoyed playing pool with you every other time. But even now, all the way to 418, and I'm going to grad school, I'm going to miss you.
Just wanted to thank you for everything that you've done for me as my advisor and professor and independent study mentor. You've had the single most influence on me as a designer and coming back and entering this field. So I just want to thank you for all of that and wish you the best going forward.
Sorry to hear that you're moving on, but I wish you the best of luck. I'm going to miss you, especially with all the memories that you've given us within the last 4 years. One of my favorite things about you was you were the first teacher to give an interest or take an interest in my athletic, experiences on and with architecture. You were the first teacher to push me to work both with track and with architecture, and I really appreciate what you've done for me in my 4 years. You're one of the teachers that inspired me to keep going and really finish up and finish strong.
Hey Adam, it was both exciting and sad to hear that you're leaving. Over the years, I think from having you my very first year in studio to having Skype conversations across the world with you while I was in Denmark, you've consistently been a huge inspiration in me being an architect and pursuing kind of deeper research in academia. I think you've always pushed for that, and good luck to you in the future, although you probably won't need it, and keep in touch and we'll grab a pint sometime. So thanks.
He's just going to go back to his firm full time. He owns a firm with a couple guys, and he's had to step away. They don't know what that is.
I mean, I just been clapping. Everybody's just been talking right now.
All right, so after he claps, you can start talking. All right. I mean, look a little bit alive. I mean, you're not at a funeral here.
I was just waiting. I was waiting for my close up.
This is your close up. It's been your
so, basically, what I would like to say to you, Professor Bridge, you have helped me. Let's see. You've helped me figure out exactly what I want to do, helped me be more confident in my work, even though, I used to get discouraged or, not like the design halfway through and not want to complete it, but you have taught me that, complete it and then figure out why you don't like it and then change it instead of just coming out with coming to class with half work and then trying to explain it, because that doesn't do anything for anybody. So yeah, I'm more confident in my work, and especially when explaining designs, and then you get excited and then I get excited, and now it's like, yes, let's go with this. So yeah.
All right, cool. And so what is what's one thing that you can immediately think of that Bridge does or says that you're like, man, that was such a Bridgeism?
Follow through. Is to always follow through. No matter what, stick to that design, follow through, and then come and figure out what's the problems with it.
Hey, Professor Bridge, how's it going? This is Manuel here. I've had you for studio and I've had you for other classes, and I gotta say that hands down, you're probably one of my favorite professors, and I've learned a lot from you, and you've really helped me how to think, not just as an architect, but as an individual, as a student, and you've helped me grow as an individual, and it's really it's very nice to have. It's a privilege to have a professor like you. It was a privilege to have you as a professor among us in our Morgan community, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one who shares this opinion. We talk about this a lot in studio, and we all share a very positive feedback on you, and we really appreciate the effort that you've put in for all of us during our crit sessions and during our individual meetings, and every time when we talk about stuff about architecture, or when we meet individually, we don't just talk about architecture, but we talk about everything, just like life and how to improve in career, but also personality wise and character, and just grow. And you've helped us come a long way, and I can tell that a lot of the things that I have acquired right now is due to a lot of the advice that you have given me. So I want to thank you for that, and I hope that wherever you go, into the next aspect in your life after Morgan, I hope everything goes well, and thank you for being as part of Morgan, and thank you for being our professor all this time. So thank you.
So, hey, Professor Bridge. It's been a good couple semesters with you, and I just want to thank you for being here. I just want to thank you for being here for us. You're like one of the best teachers. I mean, yeah, you are the best teacher, let's just say that. And well, one of the funniest things I can remember is right after we got done midterm presentations, and you were asking, why are you smiling, after you just said my work could use a little work. And I just said, because you just burned me up. And you just laughed, and it was funny, so hopefully you remember that. But yeah, I'm gonna miss you. One character that reminds me of Bridge is Monk Gyatso from Avatar: The Last Airbender, because I just imagine Bridge being a guru.
So, there's so many things that pretty much run through my mind whenever I think of, or just whenever I hear about you, or whether it be in studio or in lecture. But I've had you for 2 years, first in 206, fall semester of 2016, I believe, yeah. And then again from 104, and a little bit of 201 last semester, now for 202. So it was, or is, and will always be oh my god, this is so. What?
Keep going.
Oh.
You're doing good.
So yeah, I just can't really put into words how amazing you have been. You've really been literally one of the greatest professors I've ever had. Actually, really one of the best educators, if I were to, expand, education-wise. But yeah, you definitely inspired me, as well as everyone else. I don't know what words to really say, but I do recall the one memory in 104. It was, we were working on our last project, the Le Corbusier project, and I remember you asked me and one other student to come out into the hallway, and you asked me, what's going on? You haven't been pinning up much. You've been MIA or what have you. I know you've been sick a few days, but what's going on? I want you to do well. So, and I remember you asked me how many times have you been absent? And I said, well, more than 2. And I remember you not going that much detail into it, other than just one thing that you asked of me to do, and just get it done. Like, get everything done, because I know that you have potential. And from that moment on, I felt like I was going to fail your class, honestly. Well, maybe not that bad, but I didn't feel like I was confident in my design options. But getting that model done was a huge accomplishment. Even when I put that ramp in there, it's like, wow, I actually did this. So I have you to thank. So yeah.
Good. So keep recording. What's one phrase or thing that you think of when you think of Bridge? It can be a movement, it can be whatever.
Honestly, I have so many, but I think 2 stick out. Datums, of course, and you coming into class and all right, let's get everybody on the wall. Let's see what you guys got. So it's going to be very memorable. So
I just really want to thank you for, being who you are. You're one of my favorite professors here. Love you just as much as our whole class really loves you. And it's just, I guess, having you as one of my first professors coming into Morgan was probably the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me. Your criticism is A1. It's perfect. And just, I guess, thinking about today, being able to leave Morgan State and get my last senior crit, and you be one of the people to give me my last crit, and it's really surreal. And I just really want to thank you for being my professor and teaching me so much. I'll never forget about datums. It's really great. Thank you.
And then the last thing, you kind of included it, but maybe there's another one. When you think of Bridge, what do you think of? Is there a phrase? Is there a way that he moves, a mannerism, a word?
When I think of Bridge, apples, the blue cup, a mug, button downs with jeans all the time, the stance that's everyone does it, I don't know, datums, big words that we never know what you're talking about. So it's you gotta write down all right, he gave me criticism, but I don't know what he's talking about, so let me go look that up. I don't know, I've just, even Chicago, I probably would never want to run behind a teacher more than you, so it was just awesome having you.
Dang, where do I even begin? Thank you, Bridge, for everything that you've done for me. Thank you for your wisdom and insight. It'll definitely transcend throughout my life, through the architect that I'm going to become, the man that I will become. Thank you for the trip that you get provided for me this year and this semester. Had an awesome time. Your tradition will live on. Your information will live on. I'll pass it down to my peers, the incoming freshmen. You have impacted a lot of us so greatly. It kind of sucks that the incoming freshmen won't get to experience someone such as yourself. But again, thank you for all that you've done. You've been a great leader, a great example for all of us. So we appreciate it.
And you can keep it on. And then we're just asking people, what's one thing that reminds you of Bridge? It's either a movement that he does, or a word, or if you have a funny imitation.
Got a few of those. I have a few of those.
Okay, yeah.
Stand up for this one.
Okay, let's see.
All right, hold on. I can see if I can sit down and let me see. We gotta have to sit there while you're looking at something. What's interesting is you see the datums across the construction and the specifier. That's a big one for Bridge. And what's interesting, that's probably his catchphrase right there. Yeah, that's all I got right now.
That's perfect. And then we're just gonna get you.
Hey, Bridge, what's up? I just wanted to say thank you for, one, hiring me that one time. That was pretty chill. But also for all the support you've given me and the rest of my studio cohort throughout my time at Morgan. Every time we've had our struggles or failed to pin up on time or failed to pin up in the correct order or maybe on the correct wall, even with all of that stuff that we may have made a mistake on, or more mistakes than we made a lot of mistakes, but you always sort of kept pushing us and kept really motivating us to continue through architecture. I know without a doubt that if I had had a different professor for Arc 101, I wouldn't have continued through architecture. So thank you so much for that.
Okay, and so when you think of Bridge, what is one word or phrase or mannerism that comes to mind? Like, what is a Bridgeism?
So definitely datum. Datum is important. Remember in Arc 201, it was our final pin-up for the pencil drawing project, the ritual space. I had pinned up all my work and realized I had an extra datum, and I was so excited. And the first thing I did was I ran to Professor Bridge. I was like, Professor Bridge, I got a datum I didn't know about. It was pretty great.
Hey, Bridge, thank you for being a good mentor and helping me grow throughout my experience at Morgan State. One of my favorite memories is that every time that I would come into studio for 201, you would always be there, really excited about the next step in our project. And I sort of just appreciate everything that you've done to help me grow as an aspiring architect and as a person. Well, and good luck.
And then what's one, when you think of Bridge, what's one thing that you think of? Or what does he say a lot? What does he do?
One thing that I think of is last semester he would always bring in a teacup and then leave it on someone's desk and then forget about it, and it would just live there.
Alright, what's up, Bridge? It's a lot to say. So I mean, you've been a big influence on my life, and I just want you to know that. And when I'm doing my business and getting builders maids and things like that, I want you to be there. I really do want you to be there. I want you to see it one day, bring a class there to one of my buildings. I'm really gonna miss you, man. If I'm gonna try to keep in contact with you and then other teachers that I know that I want to contact. Funny moment, man. When we was in Chicago, oh man, when Kristen and them was following us in the vans, oh my goodness, that day, that's when I loved you, man. I swear, that's the day that I loved you, man. And then we just started laughing in the car. Oh my, that's one of the all-time greatest moments that we had. And I actually appreciate everything you've done for me. I'm done.
So I know. Hold on. So I totally forgot about that part of it, of being left behind. No, I have another thing for you. You didn't push stop, did you? So when you think of Bridge, what's one thing you think of? And it's either a phrase or does he says, does he do a lot? What's a Bridgeism?
Bridges. It's when you drag your feet and you can hear him down the hallway. That's what that is. And he just folding his arms like this. You can hear that. That's what Bridgeism is. That's what that is. And you just looking over your work huh? And don't say anything. That's Bridge.
Hey, Professor Bridge, I just want to say thank you. You did a lot for us. You got me interested in landscape architecture with your site design class, your 201 studio, and you cared about me ever since. You one of the people that helped me stay in architecture, and you helped get me here. So, thank you. My best memory, when we were at the Farnsworth house and you hit that dab on the building. That was nice. That was great. But thank you.
Professor Bridge, I want to thank you for those 2 trips we started off with during our sophomore year. First with Farnsworth House. My dreams actually come true. I'll picture that in my mind so many times, and getting that photo was like one of the best moments of my life. And then with the group photo, beautiful moment too. And then that following spring, went to Chicago. It really just opened my mind to a lot of things, and it's really the guiding force for everything I'm trying to do going forward. So I just want to say thank you.
Wow, Professor Bridge. He was one of the first professors I talked to when I came here, other than Stansberry, and he was really motivational. He was really driving a lot of like the things I was doing here, all my progression. I was a transfer student, so he made my transfer semester a breeze almost, and he's always been my advisor. Luckily, he's been my teacher and advisor. Thank God. Go to him for little crits outside of class. It's a little cheap, but anyway. But I just would like to say thank you, Professor Bridge, for everything you've done, and everything you've done for not just me, but everybody in the studio. Everybody has at least had a few encounters with you, and you've always been nothing but positivity, help. You've helped a lot of me and my classmates progress, and I really appreciate you. Thanks.
All right, so the question that I've been kind of asking people after they give that is, if you can think of one Bridgism, like what's a phrase or a thing that he does that like it's Bridge when it happens or it gets heard?
Instead of a phrase, can I give you like a mannerism?
Yeah.
That he
Yeah.
So during pinups, he used to walk down the wall with his mug. I think it's the one that the seniors got. And if he's seen somebody's work that was like subpar or needed a lot of help, he would just be walking and then he'd stop and he just with the mug, he'll take like a few sips. He'll just take a few, and then if he had an apple in the other hand, he'd take a bite of the apple. And then whose is this? And somebody, it's me. And then when you go to, he said, so what was you thinking when you did this? And then, I mean, it starts off rough sometimes, but he'll give you positive feedback in the best possible way he can. But that's always something I found funny about him. So.
What can I say? Our dad. I don't know. Bridge is awesome. He's the most down to earth person. I guess. I don't know.
It's okay. What's like a memory that stands out to you?
When he pulled me aside and he was like, hey, so what do you like about the class? So what's going on in your head? Which is not something that most of my professors really tell me. Well, he was the first to actually do it for me. And, I was telling him, I'm such a perfectionist, and, it's taking me longer than necessary to get this done. And he's like, you know what, you got this. I know you got this. Just do it, get the feedback, and then you'll be golden, like you got this. And then I did that, and then I think that's stuck with me ever since.
And when you think of Bridge, like what's one catchphrase or word that you think of when you think of Bridge?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the journey, the experience, what do they see? What did they feel? And that that in itself, just anything that talks about the experience, because you only can experience things like for the first time once, and that's what sticks with you in your memory.
I just wanted to thank you for everything that you've done for me as my advisor and professor and independent study mentor. You've had the single most influence on me as a designer and coming back and entering this field. So I just want to thank you for all of that and wish you the best going forward.
Right. So, what's your one phrase?
I
You don't
feel
have.
like
You don't
I
have
have
to
so
say.
many.
You don't have to say like my one phrase. Like, you can just say it, or like
can just
what's a
say-
bridgeism?
Mind the datums.
Thanks, Bridge, for everything that you've done in your sophomore year and even afterwards, and for what you even done for me personally. So I just want to say thanks for all of that and all the stuff that you've done for us.
What's one phrase that comes to mind, or bridgeism?
A phrase. I would more so say like it's a moment when you think of Bridge. It's two things. One, you think of the cup. He always has that cup in his hand. Secondly, he's always gonna say, "Do you have some trace paper?" So that's the two things that always stands out when you say Bridge to me. So that's it.
Professor Bridge, thank you for all the experiences you've given me and the rest of the class. I think one of my most favorable memories would be just coming to the office and getting your advice on just regular day things. What else? Oh, I love datums now. That's the thing, and thinking conceptually. Yeah, those are the things that I learned from you guys.
Just want to say thank you for your years that you've been here while we've been here. You sort of started Arc Mafia, so thanks for being a part of that big transition in all of our lives and in the lives of so many other students that were here. And just wish you a lot of success ongoing in your journey. So what's your question, Kristen?
So what's like one thing that you think of when you think of Bridge, or like if you like a mannerism, or like a
one
word,
saying?
or
Of course, the infamous "keep it loose." That's always. I think a big one for me was when he explained to me what it meant to, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. It was really simple. I never heard it before. I was looking at him like, sort of like you do a grandpa. Like, what is this old, saying you're pulling out your pocket? But it stuck with me and it helped me through that time. And I've told so many other people the same thing. But I think graduating from a HBCU in architecture, we're always pushing new ideas, and you want to make sure that your voice gets heard, even when people don't want to listen to it. So I think it's important to, not be silenced by other people's doubt, just in life in general. So that was a big thing for me.
What's going on, Bridge? It's your boy Nate. Sorry that you're leaving. I appreciate you for everything you've done. One memory that I can remember that that really stuck in my heart was when we had a what was it? What is it called? When you meet with your professor to talk about how good you was doing in the class, and you're the first person to tell me that I had the skill set to actually, be successful in this industry, and I really appreciate that. I'm pretty sure someone mentioned a car ride in Chicago. We also was talking about how you gave us hot chocolate when you made us go out in the cold and do that daggone site analysis. I hope I get some laughs on that one. But on a serious note, you've been a real great help to the program, and I hate to see you go.
So then the thing that we're asking people is, when you think of Bridge, what's one word, phrase, or maybe like a mannerism that he does that's just like so Bridge? Like, when you think of him, what do you
Everybody
think of?
do the stand-up thing. They did that. They did the Bridge. Bridge always says right after he like answers his own questions when he asks you. He's Like, he'll say a sentence and he'll be like, right, and you just like, right, yeah. Like, I agree. No, but he's cool, man. He's a real cool guy. You know, found out he was Jamaican. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but I mean, he's the coolest professor I've had since I've been here. So, all right.
Hey, Professor Bridge. I just want to say that it's been a pleasure knowing you and being taught by you. You're one of the few professors that truly care about, you know, the students and if we succeed. And so for that, I will forever be grateful.
That's good. That's good. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Okay. So when you think of, we need the one word. When you think of Bridge, what's one phrase or word you think of?
Can I do both?
Hmm?
So the phrase I would think of is datums.
Hi, Bridge. I want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done for me in the past year and a half. You've really been like my motivation, low-key, my father, and just the reason why I stayed in architecture, period. You have this just innate ability to just make people see the value in themselves. And that is a trait that I think is priceless, and you kind of instilled that in me too. So just caring about the people that you work with and caring about like the student beside you that may be struggling and things like that. So I really appreciate you for fostering that environment for us. And what else? There's so many things like it's just so much. Like, I have so much love for you. Like, I'm really sad that you're leaving, and you will definitely be missed. And I hope that you don't go off the grid, and I hope that you come back and check in on us and see where we have gotten in a year or two. And yeah, you're valued here, and your legacy will live on, and the dynamic that you've instilled in this program will live on. People like having a studio family will live on, and yeah, I love you, and I will definitely miss you. Yeah, that.
All right. So what's your Bridge impression that I'm hearing so much?
Oh my gosh! What am I gonna say? Oh my god! I have to channel it. Let me channel it. Hold on. Oh my gosh! What am I gonna say? What's the phrase? This is horrible because it's on the spot. Like, what the heck? Okay. He says, oh my god. Like, it's always like this, and it's like, right? And if you just look at it like this, like, it's just like this. And Monique, an average design is always going to be better than, you know, an eclectic one. An average design that's articulated well will always be better than, you know, a design that's going to be like eclectic. And, you know, right, like he says right like so many times, like it's crazy. Yeah, and datums. Wait, that's not the right.
That's okay.
Yeah, datums. Datums. That's all I have to say is datums. Yeah. All right.
Okay, rolling. These are bloopers right here.
Mean your damn English.
We gonna get cut down.
It's my hair look good.
Sorry, that was a big blooper.
Good cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the action.
Yeah.
Nah, let me stop. All right, but
I was just waiting. I was waiting for my close up.
This is your close up. It's been your
So, basically,
Oh God.
I'm so glad you just recorded that. We just need like people sitting in the chair, just like we should.
Like it's such a squeaky chair. Like it's not stable at all, but it's enough. You still recording?